Hello friends, and welcome to Fishcraft. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so very much. You know what else I appreciate? My skin artist, because we got a whole new skin here. I mean, it's pretty much the same as it was before, but this it's a bit more textured, and it's a bit more bright, and I really like it because it's got some kelp and stuff on the arm here. And if you look at the back, it's also got some kelp, and it's gorgeous, and I love it, and I thank you so much, Lanistry. They did also update the texture on the fish that's on my side there. Their name is Albie, by the way, and I love them a lot. I think they did fantastic, and I 100% recommend going to check out all their comments. That's wrong. That's not it. And I definitely recommend going and checking out all of their content that they've posted. I've got all their links and such in the description if you like it. And in case you're wondering why I got a texture update, honestly, I just wanted it to reflect more accurately the amount of fish that I've caught this season. Because if you catch 130,000 fish, surely you're gonna start having a bit of the wildlife on you, right? I got some kelp on my arm. I got a fish on my side. And some barnacles on my back. I've been having such a lovely time doing all this fishing, which now moves me on to the video. What am I doing in this video? I don't know. I'll figure it out as I go. Oh, that's right. I remembered. We got another boat we gotta build. Big shocker, I know. Feels like I build a boat every episode now, but honestly, I just really like building boats. And I didn't know I liked building boats until I built the first one, and now until I think about, oh, and it's raining. Hey, okay. Sorry, I've got to do some fishing now. 2 seconds. While we're on the topic of fishing, I just wanted to point out that I'm building this boat because Dustman Diagnostics bought some merch, and they left a note on the website saying they wanted to have me build them a little boat for all their diagnosing and mechanical needs. I also am just realizing how much love I have for fishing in this game. I really do spend a lot of time doing some fishing, and it's raining outside in real life, so I think I'm gonna go sit in the grass for a little while. One relaxing rain sitting session later, I have a rekindled passion for resource collecting, because that is what I've got to do next. And at the very top of my resources I need to gather, I think it's probably gonna be some red terracotta or some bamboo or something. The bamboo, that's not gonna be too hard at all. I do have lots of bamboo next to where I live, just this direction. Yeah, oh yeah, I've got plenty of bamboo. So I need to go grab a sword. I'm not exactly sure how much bamboo I'm gonna need from this, so I think I'll get probably a couple stacks, and that should be good. I take that right back. I completely forgot that I've got a lot of things I need to build in today's episode, and every single one of them involves bamboo. So I've got to do just a little bit more than a couple stacks of chopping, which has gone really well. I forgot my shulker boxes over at my little boat here, completely full of fish, and I need to empty them, which is not an issue at all, because honestly, I kind of like sorting out my fish and stuff. It acts as a visual reminder that I need to go outside more and sit in the grass. I'm also not sure if I shared it on video or not, but I did go back through the 3rd floor of the storage system area here, and I did redecorate. It was a little bit too overgrown, and I didn't like being down here. This feels a lot more cozy. The grass is nice, and I really like the added effect of the water going through, kind of like a sewer or something. Which reminds me, I got 5 mending books this week. My bookshelf is filling out very quickly. Let's just go put all of these away really quickly inside the mending bookshelf, which is very nearly full. Goodness gracious, look at all these mending books we got so far. I don't think I need them, but it's cool that I have them. So mending book stuff aside, I need to move on to the next material that I need, which is pink terracotta. I thought it was red terracotta, but I completely forgot it was pink, not red. So sorry. Ta-da! Here's our little terracotta place. Although I don't think you can get pink terracotta. Can you? That looks like it could be pink. No, that's regular. Yeah, I don't know if you can get pink terracotta from the biome, but I do know I can get a bunch of pink dye. No problem at all. So I think I'm just gonna grab just this regular terracotta, and then we'll turn that into pink afterwards. Also, I know it might seem weird, but I do actually have a lot of pink terracotta in my storage room. But typically whenever I start building something, I like to restart with my resources so that it gives me an opportunity to be able to go out and see my whole beautiful world for what it is. And what it is, you might be asking? It's beautiful. Yeah, it's something. Right, we got about half a shulker box, I think, of regular terracotta. So now I've just got to go and grab myself a couple of, oh goodness, what gives you pink dye? Is it the pink petals from the cherry grove? It's a good thing I know where one is. That direction. Take it back. Turns out I don't have any bone meal. Gotta go through all my cactus right now just to get some for the petals. We don't talk about this. We're ignoring this. Also, I genuinely had no idea you could put a hopper onto the bottom of a composter and then it just shoots it straight into the barrel below. I've wasted so much time. I'm a fool. I'm a madman and a fool, and I've learned, and I'm sorry. Yeah, there we go. The most efficient automatic composting farm you'll ever see in the whole entire planet. Collecting some petals Ba-dum-bum. I'm gonna hold on to the rest of my bone meal, which I guess is just 1 stack. And we'll call this good for now because it started raining and I've got to do just a little bit of fishing. So we're gonna do that. Oh, and there goes the rain. That's okay. We spent too long making the pink dye to do any real fishing, but that is okay with me because we've got all kinds of building we still need to do. I just need to figure out where I want this building to be because I've got the building made in like a creative world, but I don't know actually where I want to put it. So I think I'll just have to figure it out as I go, and I'll say probably over here is good because I know I want it to be next to the Lazari hut. Since they're both born of merch purchases, it only feels right to have them right next to each other. And also I feel like it's important to have the boat as close to the Kattphish village as possible because, you know, it's run by a mechanic after all. You gotta have him close by to where all the boats are. I have, however, already taken way too long to get started on building something, so I think I'm just gonna get started, and I do hope you like the buildings. A mechanic whose boat looked suspiciously like a weathered treasure chest eased onto the soft sands of Kattphish's shoreline. He'd come to serve, a gentle soul beneath his pirate-like exterior. He cared for the boats of Kattphish's residents, fed the stray cats, and quietly provided for those less fortunate. His boat, easily recognizable by the ginormous wrench that served as his figurehead, was a familiar sight along the shoreline, and acted as a sort of beacon, knowing that if anything went wrong, he would definitely be there to help. And then there was his workshop. A small building nearby was where he spent his days tinkering and repairing, the gleam of polished tools and boat parts reflecting in his eyes, ready for whatever challenges the sea might bring. And there we go. We got a big old, oh, sugarcane, sorry. We got a big old garage made, a little mechanic's den, and we got that big old boat, which I don't think I have a name for quite yet. What do you reckon? What do you reckon this boat's called? Feel free to leave some suggestions. I haven't really thought about it too much, but I love it, and it's definitely a shape. I am, however, not done with it yet because neither of these have really full interiors. This one's got a little bit of an interior. So I've got just a little table where he does the working or the grinding or anything. And then of course we have the typical giant red toolbox that is usually seen inside of mechanics' workshops and such. Although I don't know how to make a toolbox. This is the best I could do, but I'm really happy with it. This actually was one of my first buildings where I've gone and I've actually done some serious texturing. Like I'm not really sure how to explain it, but I put a lot of like mental effort and thinking into trying to make this texture and stuff look good. So because it's a mechanic's den, I figured, you know, they spend a lot of time doing boats and fixing everything that they don't really have too much time to do, like cleaning stuff. So their building's a bit dirty and it's kind of just been a little bit washed away from the rain or something like that. So I did try to tell that story through a bit of texturing, and I really hope it comes across as somebody who's less dedicated to his building and more dedicated to the people around him. While we're on the topic, one suggestion: don't texture with obsidian. And crying obsidian, it's not easy to get at all, and it took way too long. That was probably the hardest part of making this boat, is getting all the crying obsidian for this, and probably the gold, but it's a good thing I don't usually cook up all my raw materials until I need them. So I did have a bit of raw gold lying around, but I did have to go and actually manually collect a lot of it, which is fine because we do love a little bit of exploration and fish. We love fish. Moving right along, I've got to do a little bit of texturing on the ground in here, just because, you know, it is a mechanic's shop. Typically the floors are not going to be too clean. So I thought maybe similarly to what I did with, similarly to what I did with the boat here, I could texture it to kind of look like it's got some like dirt and like oil kind of seeping off the side, except I'm not going to be using obsidian. I'm tired of that. I don't want to. So I've decided I'm going to be using blocks that are infinitely harder to obtain, but also very colorful, because I think I'm going to go for a bit more of a realistic oil spill kind of thing, where you see the rainbow colors kind of like fresh on the concrete as you're walking by during like the rain or something. I really like that idea. Just need a bit of this and a little bit of this, light blue and pink terracotta, then finally a little bit of andesite. Oh, never mind. Can't forget the deep slate. So for my texturing, I typically like to have it in kind of like a dripping pattern. So you can see it here where it looks like there's one spot that's the darkest, and then it kind of droops downwards, kind of like a water or a puddle of some sort. We're just gonna choose a spot where we're gonna have our darkest spot, which is going to be the deep slate, and then we're going to have it slowly droop kind of in one direction. But because it's on the floor, I feel like it doesn't need to be more in a straight line. It can kind of curve. It can kind of do its own thing. But honestly, I really don't know what I'm talking about. A lot of this stuff I do is completely random. All right, so it's the deep slate, and then it goes to the purple terracotta. So it's gonna go this direction, something like that. We'll say this is our main drip. And then next to the purple terracotta, we've got the stripped hyphae, also coming into a point of the sorts. Then from the hyphae, it goes to the terracotta. Then from the terracotta to the stripped warped stuff. Then finally at the very end, we have a little bit of andesite to slightly help it blend just a little bit better with the concrete we've got here, which isn't great. But it makes it less sudden than going from blue or red straight to the concrete. And there we have it. It doesn't look really all that great, but it makes sense in my brain because it's kind of like a very small oil spill. I say small, but it's the entirety of the floor almost. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to replicate this, but on a slightly smaller scale over here. Yeah, I think this looks okay. It is also subject to change. I also don't usually do that. I just wanted to kind of give a small walkthrough of how I do my texturing. So this is pretty much how it looks when I do my creative world building. Yeah. Yeah, I really like this. This is a good little floor. Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention that while I was building this, I completely forgot somehow to add the banners to the roof, but the banner was too small, so I just ended up going with dust. I think it looks really good. We got it on both sides. And with that, we should be, at least for the time being, fully finished with the mechanics part of the little Kattphish village. There is something I've been meaning to do, however, inside the tadpole village, which is a big old frog village that I've got just over past the lighthouse that's behind me there. And it has to do with a little show I've been watching called Amphibia. It's a little frog show that got recommended to me from Empress Little Bit, and I've been watching it, and I've been really enjoying it. And because I'm very easily inspired, I did some research, and I built a little tiny snail-drawn cart from the show, which should be about right here somewhere, I think, right by the dock. There she is! There's Bessie and Hot Pop's cart, of course. How could I make Bessie without Hot Pop's cart? I think it's really cute, especially since this is my first time ever actually making a wagon. I definitely want to make more of these in the future, and I'm very proud of it. Oh, right, let's give you a close-up of the snail. Here she is, old Bessie. I struggled with the eyes a bit, but I did end up settling on the flower pots at the top, and I think it looks really good. My proudest point here is what I did with the use of stairs and slabs and stuff to make this tiny little spiral in the middle. I really love it, and I really want to build more stuff like this. Kind of organic, but also parts of a structure. We need more Bessies around the village here. I also really need to learn how to add in more ways to connect these buildings up, because we've got all these mushrooms, and we've got all these different buildings and stuff all popped around. But I never really know how to connect them up all that great. That's one of the only things left I need to learn for building infrastructure. You know what, actually, I think since we're here and we're already inside the swamp and we're on the dock, I may as well do a little fish, right? And by little fish, I do of course mean fishing for, I think this was an hour and a half. Such is the way, though. You think you're only gonna go fishing for a couple seconds, and then boom, you caught 1,000 fish, your schedule's messed up, it's dark outside, and you're hungry. Although at this point, it is to be expected now. You know what wasn't expected, though? Receiving a comment from Fallow Foot asking if they could have a bunch of little flower carts spread out through the little Kattphish village because they purchased merch, and that was their wish for doing so. So that's exactly what I did. I made 3 separate carts for selling flowers and stuff inside of Kattphish. We've got the green cart, which has a bunch of different green colored flowers. Then we've got the orange one, which sells the tulips and such. And then we have the yellow one, which again, I guess sells just yellow flowers. And it's my favorite, by the way. I used coral and stuff in it, and it came out really good. I really like these cute little flower carts. I definitely want to put more of the different colored flowers, but I don't know where to put them, so I'll figure that out at a later date, because we got the 3 main colors right now, and that's all that matters. Right, well, that is all of the merch purchase letters that I've received. We've got Lazari's little hut over here, we've got Dustman's mechanic shop, and we've got Fallowfoot's, all the little flower carts all over the place. If anybody has any other suggestions for some things I could build, please let me know. I really love reading what you all have. I'll say it right one of these times. I really appreciate what you all have to say and your suggestions. While on the topic of suggestions, I've been meaning to go back over to my little research facility that I've got over here and check in on our favorite little fish, Todd. It's been a while since I've been over here, so I just wanted to go and make sure they're okay. And just a little checkup. Honestly, I can't really remember what we've been talking about before. Hi, Todd. Hope you're doing good. I missed you. I haven't learned much. Oh, Ah. Yes. Didn't you say this last time? Although I think it does kind of make a little bit of sense, right? Having to make a big old oil rig? I mean, I do have 2 new boats that are both oil and, like, gasoline powered, so it does kind of make sense. I don't really know anything about oil rigs. Surely nothing bad has ever happened from fracking, so maybe that could be on the agenda pretty soon. We could get started on the big old the oil rig thing, which is the last thing I expected me to be saying this episode. An oil rig. That it does feel really odd saying it, but it's okay. Something tells me everything will be just fine if I do this. Big ol' oil rig stuff out of the way. I do believe I've just about run out of time for today's episode. I've already done all my fishing. I think before I even started recording, I had already caught like 2,000 or 3,000 fish. So I don't actually have enough time to do any more fishing for this video, which is another weird thing I wouldn't expect me to say. There's a lot of twists to this episode. Talk about oil rigs and no fishing. Goodness gracious. Although I guess I have already done my fishing, because at the end of last episode, I left it on the 130,000 mark, and I'm currently at 134,823. So I was almost at 5,000. Close enough. Anyway, I'm gonna go take a nap now. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this episode of Fishcraft. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye! Fish. Fish, fish, fish. Gloop, 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 gloop.